Hi, so glad you could join me today. We have a full body, all the things workout. Um, it's gonna be a fun one. We are gonna warm up. I'll talk you through what we're gonna do while we warm up. So we're gonna start out warming up with a windmill, so you can stick your arms straight out, and you're gonna alternate trying to keep your legs straight, alternate tapping your left hand to right toe, right hand to left toe, warming up those hamstrings, stretching out all the muscles in the back of our legs and our glutes. And if you want to stay low on one of these sides, that's great. And kind of bounce into it. Okay, so while we do these, um, we are going to do 3 moves in like one set and then repeat those before moving on to the next set. Go ahead and pull your knee across your body, stretch out that hip and side of your glute. And we're going to do 10 reps of each move. It's going to be a good time. I have 5 pounds, 8 pounds, and 10-pound weights. You can do all of this with 5s if you have 5s, and it'll be great. We'll get through it. It'll be a good time. I'm excited that you're here. Go ahead and bring that leg back behind you, holding your toes. If you need to hold on to something for balance, do that. Stretching out the front of your quad and your hip flexor. Switch sides. After running yesterday, this feels really good. And you can kind of sink into it by pressing that hip forward or keeping your knee pointing straight down. Okay, and then go ahead and just do a couple high knees for me, just lifting these up to about hip height, keeping your abs tucked in. All right, so go ahead and give me a couple arm swings here too. Just loosening up the muscles in your back, shoulders, arms. Okay, our first 3 moves are going to be done on the ground. We have a chest press, a chest fly, and a lat pullover. So we're going to be working our chest muscles and our back muscles. I'm going to need my 10s, my 5s, and then 110 for this. So anytime you're picking up weights from like, you don't want to pick them up from lying down position, you want to pick them up from a seated position. So it's great to like put them on your sides so that when you pick them up, you're not straining yourself or injuring yourself as you go to pick them up. So go ahead and lay all the way flat on your back with your heavy weights. I'm going to do 10s, but again, you could do 5s, whatever you've got. So you're going to lay flat on your back. You want to tuck that pelvis underneath you so your lower back is touching the ground. Arms are going to be out at a 45-degree angle from your shoulder, and you're just going to press straight up overhead. You want to try and keep those weights level with each other, so like you're not pushing one more than the other. And then as you push up, you breathe your air out. Make sure that lower back is tucked, and then lower back down. Just as your elbows hit the ground, you're going to push them right back up. So go ahead and join me here. We're going to do 10 together. So go ahead and press up. That's 1. Lower down. Press up, lower down. This is 3, 4, halfway. I always really enjoy, especially if it's really early, starting out on the ground. It's kind of a nice way to ease into a workout. We have 1 more here. Press up, blow your air out. Arms back down, and good. Okay, go ahead and sit up. You want to change out for a lighter weight, so I'm going to go from 10s to 5s and then go right back down to the ground. So this time you're going to press them up over your chest. They can be together, and then we're going to go out slow and controlled, and they just come straight out to the sides of your body, and then you'll squeeze your chest muscles to bring them back up overhead. We've got 10 here, so go ahead and join me here. You're going to slow and controlled out away from the center of your body and squeeze to bring them back up to the top. Again, out and 2. But starting on the ground just feels like an easier ease into a workout, especially like if it's super early in the morning. I used to do a program that was like I'd get up at 4:45 or something. Halfway. And it's just like when you start on the ground, it's like, oh, thank goodness. Just gives you a minute to wake up before you have to be moving a ton. We have two more here. And blow your air out at the top. 10. Okay. So you can change back out for those heavy weights. I'm actually just going to do 110 and hold it on either side of the weight. So this is a lat pullover. So you want to think about using the muscles just below your shoulder blades on your back. And you're going to put that weight straight up overhead. And then you're going to lower it back. So you're not bending your elbows. You're keeping your arms straight. You're going to lower it back overhead. It doesn't have to touch the ground, but it's like maybe like it just barely, like an inch above the ground. And then you squeeze those back muscles to pull it back up overhead. And if you're being mindful, your core is going to work too. You really want to squeeze that lower back to be touching the ground. So go ahead and join me here for 10. So arms straight up overhead, lower back down, and blow the air out as you bring the weight over top. 1. Slow and controlled. 2. 3. When that weight is back right here is when you really should feel those back muscles working. 5. And if this is a muscle group that you don't, always think about, it might take a while before you recognize what it feels like to work your back, and that's totally fine. We have 2 more here. Blow the air out at the top. Think about keeping that lower back pushed down and rest. Okay, we're going to repeat those 3 and then be done with those 3 moves and not come back to them. So we're just going to repeat them right here again, and then we'll move on to our next set. So we're back to the beginning with the chest press. So grab both of your heavy weights or adjust whatever weight you need. Tuck that lower back, and we're going to go right into it. Go ahead and press up here on the 1. Slow and controlled when you bring them down. 2, blow the air out. 3, keep that lower back pressed down. 4, halfway. 3 more. And last one, push them up, rest. So I don't know about you, but my arms started to feel a lot more fatigued there towards the end of that set since it's our second time around. Go back to the light weights for the chest fly. Press the arms straight up overhead. And then remember, we're going to bring them out to the side. Go ahead and join me right here. This is 1. 2, lower back to the mat. 3. When you're engaging your abdominal muscles, this is halfway. You want to think about shortening the distance between your hips and your rib cage. So that helps engage that pelvic floor. We have 2 more here. The weights are starting to feel heavy. And 10, rest. So anytime you're laying on the ground, you want to think about tilting your pelvis up underneath you and shortening the distance between your hips and your rib cage. That's engaging those muscles of the pelvic floor, which helps strengthen them as we do this work on the ground. And then it also just allows you to be more careful of injuring your lower back when you're holding these heavy weights. Okay, back to the 1 heavy weight. We have the lat pullover. Then we move on to our core moves. Okay, straight back, pull it up overhead. Breathe the air out at the top. We're here for 10. Thinking about using those back muscles. This could easily also be an arm move, but we want to intentionally be using our back muscles. And when you have that mind-muscle connection, you're actually like diverting power to that part of your body when you're using your mind to tell your body what to work. And it allows your body to more effectively use those muscles. Okay, I'm a little off my count, but I want to say we have 1 more to get to 10. If you're already at 10, great. Okay, rest. Beautiful. Okay, we're gonna stay down on the mat, but we're gonna switch over to no weights. We have 3 core moves. So let me show it to you first. Our first one is a crossbody mountain climber. So you're gonna be up on all fours. You always want to think about keeping your shoulders stacked over your elbow, stacked over your wrist. So sometimes when we get fatigued in these kind of moves, we end up finding our arms like this, like our hands are away from our body. And you want to really like keep that stack and then engage your core so that you can stay on top of your shoulder and on top of your wrist. Okay, so we're going to be up in a high plank, and you're going to bring your left knee to your right elbow as far as you can. It doesn't have to be like, you don't actually have to touch it, but that cross, the knees crossing is going to engage those side ab muscles, your obliques. Okay, so we're gonna go for 10, and it's not super fast. It's nice and slow and controlled, but really taking the time to check your form and make sure you're doing it properly so you don't get injured. And then if you need to take a rest halfway through, then do that. So here we go. Go ahead and come up into a high plank. You can do a wide base with your feet and go left knee to right elbow and other side. Breathe out when you cross. That's 4. This is halfway. Everything is shaking. 9, 10. Beautiful. Okay, good work. The next one, we're still going to be in a plank. So you're going to be, you can start on your knees, and I'll show it to you first. So we're going to do kind of like a bear plank, which is this, where your knees are literally just like 2 inches off the ground. And then we're going to step back into a normal plank. So it looks like this. We're going to go up, back, back, in, rest. Put your knees down, and then we'll go right back up and do it again. We're going to try and go for 5. So go ahead and join me right here. So stack that wrist, elbow and shoulder, and lift up. Go back, back, in, rest. Take a deep breath, and we go again. Up, back, back, in, down. Lift up, back, back, in, down. That's 3 out of 5 with 2 more. Lift up, back, back, in, rest. 1 more here. Press up, back, back, in, rest. Good work. Nicely done. Okay, and our third move in this core set is a windshield wiper. So you're going to be back on your back again. Remember to tuck that pelvis and engage your core. And you have a couple different levels here that you can try. So you're going to, you can place your hands on the mat next to you, or you can tuck them under your tailbone, which I think is helpful support for your lower back. You can go legs straight up overhead. Well, not overhead, because that would be like this, but straight up over your hips. And you can go side to side with straight legs, or you can do knees bent at 90 degrees and go side to side here. And I changed my mind about my hand under my tailbone. It's really hard to go side to side with that. So I'm going to do bent knees, and I'm just going to go just enough to where everything is engaged. You can actually feel the core muscles in your side engaging, but it's not enough to like tip over and lose control. So I just want to go until I feel those muscles engage, and then bring them back up over my hips. Okay, here we go. We've got 10. So we're going to go left, back to the middle, right, middle, left. Breathe out, right, breathe out. We have 4 more here. And 1 more each side. Left, center, right, center. Nice. You probably feel that in your back and your sides, which don't forget, your abs are all the way around your middle. It's not just the 6-pack abs that people think about, but your core is that whole entire thing. That's such a base of support for your body. You need to work your back and your sides and your front and the deep core, the inside part of your core. Okay, we are back to the mountain climber, the crossbody mountain climbers. We've got 10, so go ahead and come up into that plank with me and go left to right, right to left. We're in it. Here we go. 4, halfway. One more each side. 10, rest. Beautiful. Okay, and then right back into the bear step. So here we go. We've got our shoulder, elbow, knee, and wrist stacked, and then hips stacked right over the knees. Toes are down, lift up, go right, left, down. Lift up, left, right, down. Big deep breath, lift up, right, left, down. 2 more. Lift up, left, right, down. Last one. Lift up, right, left, down. And if you don't get the right foot pattern on that, it is not the end of the world. As long as you're in it and doing it and working hard, I'm proud of you. Okay, back to the windshield wipers. So I'm gonna lay back on your back, bring those knees up so that you have a 90-degree angle, bent. Okay, and we're gonna go left, center, right, center. Breathe out when your knees come up to the middle. This is 6. And again, they probably don't go all the way to the floor. Last one here. Because if they go all the way to the floor, you actually lose the engagement. And it can be strenuous to pull your legs back up over you. Okay, beautiful. Done with our core block. Our next block, we're back up to standing. Go ahead and grab a quick drink of water. We're 17 minutes in. I'm doing great. Okay, our next move is a bent over row with a tap back. I'm going to grab my 8s for this. 5s would also be perfectly appropriate. Okay, so for this move, I want you to hold your weights by your sides. You're going to roll your shoulders up, back, and down. So we don't want to be like hunching, holding the weight. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And hinge at your hips, which means you think about like if someone karate chopped you at the hips, you stick your butt back, but we're not bending the knees significantly. They have a slight bend, but we're not like bending like a squat, right? So hinge at the hips. Your weights are going to be down in front of you. Again, those shoulders are pulled back and engaged. Okay, so you're going to row up as your leg comes back and then bring them down as your arms go down, which means all of that weight is going to be in that left leg that's standing. So it looks like this. Back, in, back, in. Go ahead and join me here for 10. So bend over at the hips, row up, tap back, and bring it in. Back, and bring it in. So you're using your back muscles as you bring those weights up. And then as that one leg taps back, the standing leg glute muscle is on fire. I don't know if you already feel it or if I just feel it because I already walked a lot today, but it's burning. Honestly, I feel my legs so much that I don't even notice that my back is working. We have 2 more on this side. Last one here. Rest. Okay, we're gonna flip over and do the other side. So go ahead and hinge at those hips again. Weights are down in front of you. And this time we've got left leg topping back, slow to bring it in. All the weight is on that right leg as you bring that other leg back in. This is 3. Breathe out as the weights come down. 4, 5, 2 more here. Again, my glute was on fire. And last one. Nice. Beautifully done. Okay, the next one, you don't need a weight. I'll show you how you can add a weight if you want to. So we're gonna do a good morning. So it's a similar motion to how we just hinged with our hips to hold those weights in front of us. So kind of the same thing. So you can either put your hands behind your ears, or you could hold one weight in front of you and it's gonna hang in front of you. But either way, we are hinging at the hips again. So that means that your hips, it's like someone karate chops you in the hips and your butt goes straight to the back wall. So if you have your hands here, it looks like this. Here, back up. Here, back up. It's the same motion we just did with this tap back, but we're coming all the way to a standing position. So the only other thing I want to say is that when you come back up to a standing position, don't overcorrect and thrust your hips forward, because see, now my body is like in a curve. Just come to neutral. Okay, so we're gonna bend here, bring your hips back up underneath you to a neutral position. We have 10. Go ahead and join me here. So bend back, keeping those knees not like totally locked out, but pretty much straight. 2. Don't forget to breathe. This is 5. 6. If you're holding the weight, it's just right here. 7. 8. This is lengthening all of those muscles on your backside, your glutes, your hamstrings. That was 10. Here we go. Last one. Beauty. Okay. And then our last move of this set before we go back to the beginning is a goblet sumo pulse. So you're going to hold one heavy weight here or no weight at all. Turn the toes out, and your stance is just a little bit wider than your hips. Toes turned out. When we come down into this squat, you're thinking about keeping your back upright, your chest pointing forward, and you want your knees to track over your toes. So they're pointing out with your toes. Okay, here we go. We're gonna, oh, sorry, it's the pulse. Let me show you 2 first. So it's gonna be down, pulse, up, down, pulse, up. You're gonna feel it in your inner thighs, and you wanna squeeze your glutes together as you come up to standing. We have 10. Here we go. Drop in with me here. 1, pulse, up. 2, pulse, up. Breathe. Halfway here. Squeeze the glutes at the top. Breathe. As that heart rate climbs, we have a tendency to hold our breath. And 1 more. You can do it. Rest. Beautiful. Okay, we are back to that bent over row with the tap back. I'm actually going to go down to my 5s for this second round because I'm starting to feel it in my neck. Okay, so again, roll your shoulders up, back, and down so that they're engaged. Weights are in front of you. Hinge at the hips. We're going to go right leg back, arms up, and slow and controlled to lower them down. Here we go. 1, 2, breathe. As you're tapping back, that standing leg is doing all the work. We have 3 more here. And last one. Beauty. Okay, other side, we're going to get right into it, get it over with. Bend over those hips and draw them up into your armpits, legs back, and bring it in. 1. Halfway. You can do hard things. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you can't do it. You're going to feel so much better with your day after you've done this, and rest. Back to the good morning. So I'll show you with a weight this time. Remember, if you don't want to weight, your hands can just be behind your ears, or they can just be by your sides. Okay, so we're gonna feet are hip width apart, and we're gonna hinge at the hips and back up to neutral. Here we go. 1, 2. So if there's a soft bend in your knees, they're not totally locked out. This is halfway. 3 more. You've got it. 1 more. Rest. Okay, and last but not least, our goblet sumo. And then we'll call it a day unless you want to stick around for a bonus burnout, which I'm even questioning if I want to do at this point. Okay, toes turned out, feet are pretty are wider than the hips, and we've got the pulse. So here we go. So drop in with me, pulse, and stand and squeeze. 2. This is halfway. Keep your shoulders pulled back so that your upper back is not rounding, holding the weight. Breathe. Last one here. Beauty. Great job. Okay, I do have a burnout move for us if you have anything left in the tank. We can take care of that. But if that was already plenty challenging for you, great. Call it a day. Be proud of yourself for working hard. Excellent work. Okay, here is our burnout move. It's going to be a good time. Okay, go ahead and grab one heavy weight. Hold it at your chest. We're going to do a curtsy lunge pulse. Again, like I said, I'm kind of questioning if I even want to do this. My legs are pretty tired at this point, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it anyways. It's going to be fantastic. Okay. So when you do a curtsy lunge, you want to make sure you think about your hips stay pointing forward, even though you're going to tuck a leg back behind you. So I'm going to tuck my right leg back behind my left. It's not like way out here because then my hip is pointing that way. It's just behind the other foot. So I'm going to lean back and down into a curtsy lunge, and I'm going to pulse like we did with the sumo squat pulse. So I'm going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, up. We're going to do 5 on each leg, and we're not going to alternate. We're going to do all 5 on one side and all 5 on the other side. And it's going to burn, and it's going to be great, and we're going to feel strong after. So here we go. Go ahead and join me here. So right behind left, go 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. Making sure that that knee stays behind the toe. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3. That's 5. I'm going to do another one. 1, 2, 3, up. Good job. Okay, and if you feel unstable, like if you feel like your balance is off, really be sure to squeeze your core before you drop into your lunge. So let's go right into the other side. So left behind right. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. This is 4 and 5. We did 6 on the other side, so we have to do 6 on this side. Woo! Feeling that in my butt. That's a good time. Okay, just like that, 29 minutes has already gone by. Very proud of you for showing up today, for working hard. This was challenging and great. And I hope you feel it tomorrow. And thanks for joining me.